was a time we were united as a nation, and I believe we can do it again. I think we're going to need more than a few billionaires in a deep-sea submarine with a Nintendo 64 controller. Nancy Mace, what have you got for me?
Are you f***ing kidding me? It's out of control, and enough is enough, and I'm going to double down on this. I'm going to be more vigilant than ever. I'm going to be louder than I've ever been until this stops. It's got to stop.
I mean, I agree with Nancy. The violence in our schools has got to... What's that? Oh, she was talking about Democrats? That might be part of the problem. At a time when our nation is more divided than ever, and on the same day that conservative podcaster Charlie Kirk was gunned down on a Utah college campus, the Republicans on Twitter called for more violence against the Democrats, a virtual war, if you will. Republicans insisted that liberal media needed to be prosecuted for claims that were anti-Republican, despite the fact that they had no idea who the shooter was or why they would do this. 22-year-old Tyler Robinson and his grandma says there ain't a Democrat in sight in that family. Not only is Tyler Robinson not a transgender person, not queer, not black, nor an immigrant, it appears that he was affiliated with Nick Fuentes and his ultra-conservative group who despised Charlie Kirk. So rather than being liberal, this man is actually aggressively conservative. And while people like Nancy Mace have shifted their tone from calling for the death penalty back to we should pray for his soul upon looking at the color of his skin, there's still a way to vilify the Democrats. Conservatives like Katie Miller and Dinesh D'Souza say that he was radicalized in college for 1 semester in Utah. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. But despite partisan influencers calling for more division online, I believe that most people in this country want to be unified, and they want the political violence to stop. Unfortunately, this man's not going to be the one to do it.
I'll tell you something that's going to get me in trouble, but I couldn't care less.
Right. Rather than vilify the Democrats, it seems prudent to point out that the liberals don't want to hurt you. They just want you to have access to health care and affordable groceries, taxing the billionaires appropriately before they take submarine rides down to the bottom of the ocean. Or, even more importantly, safe schools. Which seems like a super relevant issue, considering the fact that on the same day Charlie Kirk died, there was another school shooting in Colorado. A 16-year-old at Evergreen High School shot 2 of his classmates before turning the gun on himself. And okay, I think we can all see what the common denominator is here. Okay, you don't want it to be about guns? Fine, we'll talk about mental health. But oh wait, my Republican governor, Glenn Youngkin, just vetoed a bill that would have created policy guidance for student mental health support. So weird. Wait, the same Republicans in my state refused to help extend subsidies from Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, so now healthcare premiums have jumped up 20%. That makes everything more expensive and harder for us to get healthcare. That includes mental health support. You don't want me to make it political, but it is political when Republicans are preventing us from getting the support and the policies we need. In order to unify, we're going to have parties that come together in a bipartisan show of support to make sure that we have access to things like mental health benefits. Okay, but you still don't think it's about the guns. There is one common denominator. There's one overarching ideology that most of these school shooters have, and it is white supremacy. It's not talked about enough. If you want to get real honest about it, the Democrats aren't turning kids into white supremacists. Like, they're just not. I'm so sorry to tell you that. None of their rhetoric is causing people to hold these beliefs, but do you know what is? The prevailing viewpoint of Americans since the beginning of this country. What do you think the first Civil War was about? There are many things that we can do as citizens to stop the political violence in this country. And it doesn't involve Fox News hosts calling for the involuntary lethal injection of unhoused people. It's definitely not going to happen if Republican governor candidates are tweeting propaganda films on Twitter. If you want to create a safe space in this country to exist with politics or without, it starts with your politicians. And this just isn't it. I don't even know what to say about it. I can't. That's not the